Happy Monday, Saints fans. We got a loaded show coming up for you today. We're going to talk about a very interesting and intriguing trade target. You might have seen him on the thumbnail. Next, we're going to talk about pursuing an edge rusher. He was the quickest to get to 50 sacks, or the youngest to get to 50 sacks in his NFL career. So we're going to talk about if he's a fit for the Saints. And we're going to talk about a draft target that we have yet to discuss on the channel. But before we get there, I talked about this last week, DAT Nation. We have to get to 14K subs. Otherwise, we may have to go sub only. So by the first day of the NFL draft on April 27th, we need to pick up 492 subs. I trust in you, DAT Nation. I know you'll come through for us. Let's get those subs, and let's talk some Saints ball. What's happening, DAT Nation? Y'all know who it is. It's your guy, Trace Gerard, here to deliver the latest Saints offseason rumors, buzz, and all sorts of fun stuff. You can interact with me on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at TraceGerard48. Links will be in the comment section in the description of this video to make it a little bit easier for you. I love talking ball. I love interacting with all of y'all, so feel free to hit me up. But without further ado, Budda to the boot? I was going to put boot, but I kind of thought that was cringy, so I just went with Budda to the boot. So in the latest news around Budda Baker, the Cardinals safety, he has requested a trade from Arizona on Friday, and he is owed about $13 million this year. There's a $14.2 million club option next year for Arizona. And just a little bit about him, he's a 5-time Pro Bowler from 2017, not in 2018, but then again in 2019 through 2022. He is an elite locker room presence and a phenomenal leader, which is something that the Saints love in their players, especially for a lead or a position like at safety. So let's take a look in the last 4 seasons what Budda Baker was able to do for the Cardinals. Now last year, 111 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 7 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. Realistically, he was pretty much the only good thing on the Cardinals defense. Obviously, J.J. Watt is great too. But, I mean, he was the biggest highlight for the Cardinals really as a whole, but especially on the defensive side of the ball. 2021, 98 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 7 PBUs, and 3 interceptions. 2020, 118 tackles, which is pretty solid. 19 tackles for a loss, 6 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. But in 2019, he had the most tackles of his career at 147, 10 tackles for a loss, and 6 pass breakups, but no interceptions. So in terms of if he could fit for the New Orleans Saints, I feel as if the safety need is something that's a little bit slept on. And now Tyrann Mathieu, he's great. The Honey Badger don't care. He's still a damn good athlete. Marcus Maye, there is the possibility that he could miss some time this year. I really do think Marcus Maye could be a good fit for the Saints, but if you want to get more out of Maye, if you want to potentially push him a little bit more, I think that bringing in Budda Baker makes sense. But in terms of the rest of the depth chart, you have Jonathan Abram. You signed him in free agency, the former Las Vegas Raider. Smoke Monday, the UDFA out of Auburn, who went on IR during off-season programs last year. We didn't get to see no smoke this year. Shout out to Smoke Monday. I really think that he's going to be a dog. But that being said, you have to call it how it is. He is a UDFA, and there's a reason for that. I think that Budda Baker obviously would be an upgrade over Abram or Smoke Monday, as well as JT Gray. I think that these are all players that are good, but come on. Budda Baker is better. But let's talk about this update because Dov Kleiman tweeted this out just minutes before we started filming this. And he said that Cardinals safety Budda Baker could actually be traded for a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. An NFC executive, tells Albert Breer. So he also adds that Baker is not wanted. He adds that had Baker not wanted a new contract, sorry y'all, his trade value would have been higher. So this is the trade idea I cooked up. It's very simple, just straight up. Budda Baker for your number 71 overall pick in the 3rd round. Now, y'all know me, 3rd round, that's where we're targeting Tyjae Spears. So just keep that in mind. I also think that maybe you go and you go draft a safety maybe, go explore safeties that are options on the back end of free agency or on the second wave of free agency. You would have to make Budda Baker the highest paid safety in the NFL, and that's something that is worth considering. So it's not you just get to trade him and it's all hunky-dory and you get, to run off in the sunset with Marshawn Lattimore, Budda Baker, and Tyrann Mathieu just running the DB locker room. That being said, You would have to probably extend him, or you would have to extend him. You're going to have to pay him and all that. But keep all this in mind. Would you do this trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no for me. This is going to be the pinned comment, so if you do get hit with a YouTube ad break, please don't click out of the video. Just scroll down, share your thoughts, scroll back up, and by the time you get back up here, we will be playing again. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up icon. What are we, Falcons fans? All right, now let's talk about this. An intriguing defensive end prospect, edge rusher, Danielle Hunter, former LSU Tiger. The dude's jacked. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him. He's massive. Danielle Hunter is not expected to attend the start of Minnesota's voluntary offseason program per sources. Sorry, Patrick Seatman. Sorry, producer Seeps. I'm sorry about that, bud. The absence is likely due to his contract. He's set to make $4.9 million in the last year of his deal, well below the market for a three-time Pro Bowler. So let's take a look at why he is a three-time Pro Bowler. 379 tackles, 71 sacks, and like I said off the top of the show, he was the youngest player to reach 50 sacks in the NFL, and he also had 7 forced fumble, 85 tackles for loss on 102 career games. And in terms of whether or not he could fit for the defensive line, obviously the answer is yes. Like Cameron Jordan, we know he's great. Colin Saunders, he's going to be a very interesting piece in the middle of the defensive line. Nathan Shepard, I'm interested and excited to see how he can impact the Saints defensive line. But Carl Granderson, Peyton Turner, we've talked about it. Tano Passanio, we've talked about it to a great extent. I think that going and getting a guy like Danielle Hunter would be beneficial because I think, one, he's a young player that you could still have pretty much take over for Cameron Jordan, but in the time being, you have him play opposite. Same reason why I like Yannick Ngakoue. Same reason I like a lot of these edge rushers that are still available. But in terms of the contract details, here's how they shake out for Minnesota in the money. You got to talk about the money because despite what some people think, producer Seeps, the Saints don't think money's real, and they're not running a Ponzi scheme so we can make it happen if we really wanted to. But anyway, back to the serious stuff. The contract details, he is owed $4.9 million in 2023 of new money. June 1st trade or release, the Vikings will lose $5.7 million. They're not going to do that. If it's a post-June 1st trade or release, it's going to be $5.5 million. It'll cost $5.5 million. 2023 dead cap if traded, $7,620,000. Again, I went to Arkansas. Don't blame me for the numbers. So if you guys had to pick one, would you trade for Danielle Hunter or would you draft an edge? Type T for trade, type trade, type draft. Let me know. And speaking of the draft, come on, guys. I know y'all are trying to go get some Hurricanes at Pados. I know y'all are trying to get swagged out and look fresh on Bourbon Street, or if you're going to the French Quarter, go get you one of these lids. They got the gray and black. They got a flat bill. They got a curved bill, baseball cap. They even have an all-black one that is fresh. I already picked up my ball cap. And by the way, if you have used our link, chatsports.com/Saints hat, tweet me a picture of you wearing it at TraceGerard48, and I will gladly retweet it, and I'll gladly give you a shout-out on the next video. But guys, go get geared up. Chatsports.com/Saints hat. It's the official 2023 draft hat. The link will be available for you in the comment section and description of today's video. All right, NFL draft target. We haven't talked about him. Let's talk about Quentin Johnston and whether or not he would be a fit as a potential draft target for the New Orleans Saints. So in terms of what he was able to do last year for the Horned Frogs, he was a big reason why the Horned Frogs found the success that they did, and he was Max Duggan's go-to guy. I mean, I like what Quentin Johnston was able to do. 60 receptions, just over 1,000 yards, 1,069, very nice yards on last year. 17.8 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns. And then in terms of the career stats, look at the progression of what he was able to do for the Horned Frogs. In 2020, 22 receptions, 487 yards, 2 touchdowns. But in 2021, 33 receptions, 634 yards, 6 touchdowns. And then 2022, in the magical, miracle, great season for the TCU Horned Frogs, stepped it up, almost doubled his receptions, damn near doubled his yards for the season, but also ran up 6 touchdowns. So I think that Johnston, could be an interesting fit for New Orleans. And now taking a look at his scouting profile. 8.9 yards after catch. He had 19 forced missed tackles. That's impressive. That's something that I want in one of my players, in a guy, especially a playmaker on the offensive side of the ball. I want somebody who's going to take contact, but just keep it moving. I don't want somebody who's going to go down in one hit or get pushed out of bounds or give up on a play. Hell no. I want somebody who's going to put their nose down and go and get some yards. And Quentin Johnston can do that for you. He also has really good athletic ability for his size. I mean, he's a big dude. But that being said, he has a surprisingly low contested catch rate at just 34.8%. He did have 8 drops in 2022. It's the most he had in his career. Otherwise, it was like 2 or 3 drops through the rest of his career. But worth noting, he got more slot reps this year, but he mainly plays on the outside. And in terms of a pro comp, if you wanted to know what his play style looks like, it's kind of like a skinny Dez Bryant or a less athletic version of Demaryius Thomas. And this is coming from our guy, Tom Downey. He's our draft expert here at Chat Sports. And I think that it's a very fair comparison to make for Johnston to Bryant and Demaryius Thomas. So, Who Dat Nation, I want you to be honest with me. I want you to let me know. Do you like Quentin Johnston as a draft target? Type L for like, type D for dislike. Let me know just some other draft targets you like. We talked a lot about the defensive line. We talked a little bit about linebackers, some wide receiver, but just shout out also who your favorite draft target is. I know you guys are all very excited for the 2023 NFL Draft. So be sure to lock us in, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and Who Dat Nation, y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.